evening, Cambodia. Good afternoon, South Africa. You're watching Pepper's Echo. It's a live echo. My name's Andre, and thank you very much for joining us on Pepper's Echo. For those of you watching live, thank you very, very much. Those of you who catch us on the rerun, really appreciate that. Yeah, Pepper's Echo is the show with the ordinary man from the outside looking in and trying to grunt out through his flu and cold. No, it is not COVID. It is flu. But and what we do is, as I've said before, look at news and views and things that come up, different things, and actually try and look at it from a layman's point of view and create the questions around the news and the views. But before we carry on, let me please just ask you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. It's the only way that I get my videos and contents out there. And if you have any ideas, or if you'd like to come on the show, or if you would like to be a part of the show, or just give us an idea of what you would like to see, it doesn't have to be political, doesn't have to be Cambodian, doesn't have to be South African, can be anything whatsoever. Just drop us a mail on peppersecho@gmail.com, PEPRSECHO, not double P and no E, it is like that. So please drop me a mail or actually leave a comment in the comment section down below. And I will very, very much love to accommodate you from that. So if you want to come on, I'd love to have you on. If you prefer not to, just want to hear your view maybe, I do sometimes do the shows where I do have a feedback, where we've had feedback across a couple of shows, if there's more than one on a certain show. Today I expect to have a little bit of, I don't want to say controversy, but I do want you to keep in mind that today it is a question, and it's not my, I will give you a general opinion that I have, but I'm not going to fight with anybody or anything to that effect at all. But it is, once again, none of the material that I show is owned by myself at all, and it is all the property of the people and the companies that I've used the material for. I've used it specifically to look at talking about, COVID. Let me talk about COVID again. But not only just COVID at the moment, because it has seemed to get quite hectic again. We've had it go quite hectic. In South Africa, you're back up to level 4, with talks about level 5. In Cambodia, it's running pretty hectically at the moment. The teachers were away from school teaching at home for 2 weeks, and then at the end of last week, which is this last week, which is past, it has been extended until further notice as well, with signs of the Delta strain sticking its head up places, and naturally being very cautious. They are trying not to have these things, or should I say, trying to let get out of hand, although it is concerning and scary. So, what are they doing about it? Here in Cambodia, there is a massive vaccination drive, getting everybody vaccinated. The schools have all been vaccinated. Healthcare has been vaccinated. I was vaccinated over a month ago. I got my second shot already. On the Sinovac, which everyone well, you know what, if they created it, I'm sure they have an antidote for it. So, what better place to get it? But yes, so what I want to take a look at this evening is, should you get the jab or should you not get the jab? Now, this next part is an Afrikaans clip, so if you don't understand it, I will try and talk through it, or just mention as I go through it. I have a lot of respect, and I really enjoy this gentleman. I'm sure you've all seen him and you know him, Ramkat. And this is Ramkat say, and Ramkat, Wim Ramkat, should I say, because I think he is more than 10 years my senior, which he is only, but I should say good manners to speak about it like that as well. But I enjoy the passion with which he speaks about things, and I enjoy the subjects that he's not afraid to tackle and touch as well. And I might not agree always, and it doesn't mean that I don't agree with what he's got to say this evening, but it was something that came up when we were looking at taking the jab, as he refers to it, or not taking the jab, or can you be forced to get vaccinated as such. Now, I'd like to start with this video and take it from there. I might try and stop it in between a little bit, but I really want to play it. Unfortunately, it is in Afrikaans, so if you do not understand Afrikaans, I'm really, really sorry. The two video clips here afterwards will be in English as well. So basically, we're looking at, his video is basically of, what about my rights? You should not force me to take the jab. Even if you are in, and it's specifically referring to schools, teachers. I'd like to hear your comments on that very, very much, because I think this is quite a controversial or contended subject currently. Is, should you have to take the jab for work? Can you be asked to leave work if you do not agree to take the vaccination? Is it correct? Is it not correct? Is it my right to work without the vaccination? Let's hear what the gentleman has to say at the moment. And as I said, I do not diss this gentleman at all. I at no means am trashing him down at all. I do understand the point of view that he's coming from, and I'd like to put a few other points of views there as well, and I would like to just create the question, as I've said before. We'll take a look at a Ronaldo host, Morning Shot, Roman Kavanagh, Chris Wyatt. Those guys go for a deep dive. This one has just been very, very interesting to me in the points that are made, and I have questions to them. I do have questions arising which contradict it as well. And he seems to be a very, very angry gentleman here. So, with no further ado, let me put this one on.
Hartlike goeiemôre Johan en goed julle op die 1 Julie. En ek stel dit duidelik vandag en ek stel dit duidelik waar almal dit kan hoor. So jy kan 'n videoetjie vat, jy kan hom stuur, jy kan stuur vir die president, jy kan vir die SAP stuur, jy kan hom vir die gesondheidsmensie stuur. Ek praat vandag oor die jab of die inenting. En ek praat waar die president gesê het, jy sal nie verplig word om hom te vat nie. Jy doen.
Okay, so basically what he's just said, he's talking about the vaccination, and it's specifically talking about where the president said that you will not be forced to take it.
Opinie oor 'n jab, ek het my opinie oor 'n jab. Maar dit lyk vir my en kom voor dat die pro-jabbers slegs hulle opinie geld en die res wat nie saamstem nie is gemors van die grond en is doem.
Okay, so basically what he's saying is that everybody, he's got his opinion and the others have got their opinion about the jab or the vaccination as such, and that it does seem to come across that those who are pro-vaccination, their opinion counts, and those that are or against vaccination or don't want to be vaccinated, they are scum of the earth, doom prophets.
Profete. Nou ek stel dit duidelik vandag en ek stel dit op social media vandag. Dit is siek wat in ons industrie aangaan. Want ons loop met klappe op ons oë. Ek sê nou vir julle.
Okay, basically saying that it's sick that's going on in the industry because we are walking with blinkers on.
Hier is mense wat nie heraangestel word in hulle werk omdat hulle nie die jab het nie.
So basically telling you that there's people that are not being reemployed because they have not been vaccinated.
Mense, jou demokrasie is in sy moerman. Hoor jy wat ek vir jou sê? As 'n skool sy onderwysers verplig om die jab te vat, het ons 'n probleem.
Okay, so you're saying that we have a problem if the school is forcing their teachers to get vaccinated. Then we have a problem. I don't know. It depends on the pressure from outside. we'll talk about this a little specifically because he's very, very much angry about the fact specifically that a school is expected. And that's what happened with us. I mean, I didn't throw up a huge fight and, oh, my right, etc., and some did. But you know what, in the end, we all got vaccinated. So the school actually has a sign up on their website that has a sign up outside the school that says all our employees are 100% vaccinated.
Wat is volgende?
Want to know what's
Wat
next?
het van my vrye keuse gebeur? My kind sal gejab word. Wat is volgende? Ek sê vir jou, dit is om die draai.
Basically, he's saying that maybe the next thing, the children are going to have to be vaccinated before going to school.
Daar is 'n kliek in besighede en werk, kom dit voor, dat as jy gejab is, assosieer jy nie met die ouens wat nie gejab is nie, man. Moenie jou kop verloor deur stres en dink jy's God gegewe omdat jy die jab gevat het nie.
Basically saying that yes, that there's a cliques in companies and works that the people that have had the vaccination don't want to associate with those that haven't. And he says that what gives you the right and don't think you are God-given because you've had the vaccination.
En meneer jy die skoolhoof, en meneer jy die departementshoof, en meneer jy die hoof van onderwys.
So he is addressing the school headmaster, the department headmaster, the department head, and the head of education.
Ek sê dit vandag vir jou. Ek sê dit vandag vir jou. Moenie my mense klassifiseer as minder as jou mense, omdat jou mense gevaccinate is. Moenie verruk.
So he's saying basically don't classify my people as less than your people because my people aren't vaccinated. I don't quite agree with the fact that you're saying my people and your people because you're already classing people there, you know. You should say, you should basically rather classify than say, look, you know what, an unvaccinated person or a person who does not want to be vaccinated equal to a vaccinated person. My people and your people, it's something that I hold against the ANC for always saying my people and your people.
Rugby coaches sê, jy kan nie verder 'n rugby span coach voor jy nie gevaccineerd is nie, man. Wat is jy net? Dan is jy mos niks beter as Adolf Hitler nie.
Basically, it's comparing people who would say, like, if you're a rugby coach, you can't carry on coaching because you've not been vaccinated, because then you're no better than Adolf Hitler.
Ek sê dit vir jou, jy is niks beter as Adolf Hitler nie, man. Verstaan jy? Ek stel dit vandag op kamera ook. Ek stel dit duidelik. Gaan doen jou huiswerk. Gaan lees op. Dis nie 'n rumor nie. As jy die jab vat, is my vraag, garandeer dit jou, dat jy nie weer COVID sal kry nie.
Basically saying is, it's written down and it's true. If you have the vaccination, does it guarantee that you won't get COVID?
Nee, dit doen nie. Nee, dit doen nie. Hoor jy wat sê die kat? Nee, dit doen nie.
No, it doesn't.
As jy die jab gekry het, moet jy nog steeds masker kom.
You still have to wear your, and he's indicating, you still have to wear a mask if you've had vaccination.
Neus dra. Ja, jy moet.
Yes, you do.
As jy die jab gekry het, genees dit jou van COVID.
Does it cure you from COVID if you get the vaccination?
Nee, dit doen nie.
No, it doesn't.
So moenie dink, omdat jy die jab het, jy is beter as die wat nie die jab wil vat nie.
So don't think you're better than those. If you've had vaccination, don't think that you're better than those who don't want to take it.
Want is my God gegewe reg as 'n mens om te sê wat word in my arm ingedruk. En as ek nie kies om daai ding in te sit nie, moenie dink jy is beter as ek nie.
Basically, if I don't choose to put what goes into me, then if you chose differently, don't think you're better than me.
En dit geld vir ieder en elke mens in hierdie land. Dit geld vir elke werkgewer
basically
Ek slaan af vandag op die skole, want hierdie gemors is klaar besig om kop uit te steek in ons skole. Onderwysers wat my bel,
Same teachers phoning,
wat huil,
crying,
want hulle wil dit nie hê nie.
because they don't want the vaccination.
So vat jou jab,
So take your jab,
maar moet my nie manipuleer,
but don't
of ek gaan werk kry by jou, en ek gaan nie werk hê as ek 'n jab,
that he won't get work if he doesn't get his jab.
of nie 'n jab het nie. Verstaan jy? Want dan is jy niks beter as 'n Adolf Hitler nie. Jy's 'n donderse diktator, man, as jou kop so redeneer. Tyd vir gevleede woorde is verby jou bil. Verstaan jy? Ek sê, ek vat nie die jab nie. Ek sê nie vir jou, jy moenie die jab vat nie. Maar moenie dat jou gat ryk na lavendel.
It says, I'm not telling you that I don't want the jab, but I'm not telling you not to take the jab, but don't think that your fart smells like perfume if you've had it, and I didn't.
Parfum, omdat jy die jab het en ek het hom nie. Nou ja toe, elke skoolhoof, luister nou wat ek vir jou sê. Ek wil hoor, by elke onderwyser in hierdie land, wat deur hierdie trauma gaan,
He's calling on the teachers to let him know who are the teachers that are going through this trauma,
wat hy afgepers word,
being
dat hy moet die jab vat, of hy word heraangestel in 'n departementele
that's being manipulated, that he needs to take the vaccination or he will not be reemployed.
pos, as 'n voorbeeld nie. Ek wil dit hoor.
He will be,
Julle begin dit dink, mense.
you will
Ons
start
moenie
thinking,
val vir gemors.
don't fall for rubbish.
As jy hom bevat, vat jy hom.
If you want to take
Hy
it,
gaan my nie verplig, my familie en my huis nie. Wat's volgende? Dat my kind sal die jab moet vat, sy skool toe gaan. Jab jou kind. Ek sal nie my kind jab nie.
It says, what's next? That you've got to take, that the kids are going to have to take it before they go to school. It says, you have your kid vaccinated. I don't want mine vaccinated.
Dis my kind.
My child.
Nou ja toe. Ek is vandag seer, ek is woedend vir die arrogansie. Vir die arrogansie. Want as jy 'n jab gekry het, nie almal nie. Nie almal nie. En met jy, wat dink? Jy is beheerde. Die res, want jy is nie ou babs. Verstaan jy?
So take a look. Yeah, hello, Linda. Lovely to see you. And yeah, I hope and pray that you guys are better as well and feeling much better. And you've written 10,000 teachers have turned down the jab. It's a concern, and I'm going to stop this video right here as well. He said he's sick and tired, and he's very, very angry about the arrogance of people who have had the vaccination. No, I'm not agreeing and I'm not disagreeing there as well, but I want to tell you that I have probably found people in my situation who are more arrogant that don't take the vaccination than those who just go and get the vaccination over and done with. Will you do it? You do it. If you don't, you don't. I'm going to have my vaccination. The arrogant person is the one who's turning around going, I have a right. I will not get this done. You have a, by all means, do what you want to. I just don't mind because it's the right thing to do as far as I was concerned. What you're concerned with, you're concerned. But I have found more arrogance in those, in the people that don't want it. And unfortunately, it's in the same vein as what he's saying now. And you hear it, he says that it's not everybody, that it's only certain. And unfortunately, it is the same this way around as well. It's not everybody, it's only the certain, which goes back to the country again as well. It's not everybody, it is the certain. Let's see that. Oops.
Sê weer, jou jab gaan jou nie genees van COVID nie, want dit kan nie. Die dokter en die president sal dit vir jou sê. Okay.
he says your jab is not going to cure you from COVID. The doctor and the president's already said so.
Nou ja, toe. Goed uit en guns. Elke onderwyser
He wants
wat
every
by
teacher
daai lyn nou staan, waar hy
standing at the
die
point.
keuse moet hê,
He's got to have that choice.
of hy vat die jab, of hy kan nie meer onderwys gee nie.
Takes it or no.
Dat weet my. Ek wil hoor hiervan. Elke mens in sy werksomstandighede wat gemanipuleer word om die jab te vat, anders kan hy met sy werk aangaan nie. Laat weet my. Want hierdie gaan nie meer oor regverdigheid nie. Hierdie gaan nie meer oor menseregte nie, man. Dit gaan oor 'n donderse manipulasie. Goedheid en guns.
Okay. Yes, we'll be going there. I also think the guys who don't have it try and humiliate the people who do have it. Yeah. That's unfortunately what I've come across, is the fact that the people who don't have it are more arrogant about it than the people who do have it. I mean, it's like you've seen one or two videos of people who walked into shops in South Africa. I know one of them was a chemist, the other one was a liquor store, but specifically the chemist. I have never seen anyone treat employees and shout and throw a tantrum so badly because he won't wear this mask and da 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 da. It was embarrassing, to say the least, at the way he carried on. And I think he's also, I stand corrected, but he's also one of those who's like, I want, a lot of people just want to be otherwise. I mean, we've got, I've had people that I've worked with who, we've got to do that. But is it something that the government wants, or is it something that the work wants? And then he's off with emails to the government, and he'll come back with emails to you and say, government doesn't require that. And it's like, it's fine. The company does. Get it done. What's your problem? And it's very much in the light. And so, yes, there I don't agree with you. There, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. That the arrogance, I'm afraid, comes from the people that are less. But I don't say that it's the other way around either. I'm not saying that, I don't want to associate with you. I agree, and I agree with Linda here as well. It makes the symptoms much less. Okay, well done. Nobody has said that getting a vaccination is going to A, cure you, B, not let you get COVID. It should, however, put less strain on hospitals because you shouldn't die if you've had the vaccination. You have less chance of dying from COVID if you've had the vaccination. You have less chance of contracting it. Not no chance, less chance. It's a mitigating circumstance. It's like sending someone into a burning building. Okay? You don't have to put that protective gear on, and you don't have to put that hat on. But if you do, because if you do, if you don't, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get burnt in there. But to put on the protective gear mitigates the fact that you will get burnt in there. I don't know if it's in one of the videos that I'm going to be playing up for you in a moment. But something else, if you come to the workplace, I don't want to associate with you. Why must it not be had in a workplace, especially a school where we have children who are afraid? There we go. Speaking from experience, Linda, Philip nearly died and he had no vaccination. And I cruised through COVID with vaccination. I actually get goosebumps when you talk about that. You can actually see my hair standing on it. For me, it is frightening. I'm not paranoid, but I'm not stupid either. And there you've got it from experience. From experience. It lessens the attack of COVID on you. If you go to school, would you want your child attending a school where every single safety precaution has been taken? Your children are precious. I mean, yeah, you just got to think COVID and parents are pulling their children out of school. Nevertheless, that, and had you not thought, we have tuk-tuks. It's like the Uber, as I've told you before already, and I've shown you, that you can now, on your app, you can order a vaccinated driver. That's how far it has gone. You know, if he picks you up and he's vaccinated, great. Our driver, our regular driver who picks us up every morning, takes us to school, and is teaching from home now, but I still got to go to school. But he's got a big sticker across the front of his tuk-tuk, vaccinated driver, because you can now specifically request a vaccinated driver. It mitigates. Yes, you still got to wear a mask so that you do not contract and so that you do not get out. You still need to mitigate. But I'm saying specifically, especially a school, a service industry where you may be working with food, a health industry where you're working with old people. My mom is 85 years old. She's in a old age home, and I am quite concerned that she might get it. And they lock down. But I would hate to know that because somebody felt it was their right not to take a vaccine, that they contracted it. What would you do? I've had 3 people that I know of, 2 good friends, and one is a friend's sister. Die. Not get sick, die. I cannot believe it when I still say. One on Christmas Day, one about a month ago, and the one sister in that same week as well. You know what? If you could have gone to school, if your kid contracts or your child contracts COVID, and they come back and your child dies because A, your child's not going to have the vaccination because you're anti-vaccination. B, you fought for the right of no teacher or any teacher not to have a vaccination if they didn't want them. And so your child contracts COVID due to that. I'm not saying it's not possible that if they are vaccinated, the chances are less. It's mitigated. Okay? And they do. Who are you going to be upset with? Who are you going to hold responsible? It's just a question that I'm asking. Or should it not be like that? Should it be okay? Should we just wait for it to go over? It is a question. I want to play a video for you now as well. And I'm hoping it's going to work out. Yeah. So that I can... and it is... now it is from a boss's point of view. Where he's like, no, not going to happen. So we've heard Ronkat, and by all means, I understand where he's coming from, and I harbor no ill feelings towards him. And I'd actually love to chat with him, not necessarily on COVID, just about anything, because he's absolutely fascinating. But I do want... Stop sharing this, sorry. I did throw something together quickly, so I'm not as unprepared as what I was last time. But, and I know I said, COVID again. But suddenly it's vaccination, and I often query, and I'm not thinking I'm greater. You know what? I walk around people. I have friends who work at a market, and I'll give them a hug, hello, whatever. I have friends that are or are not vaccinated. I am not the worry over there. But when I go to my work, I need to aid. I don't go out in the evenings to restaurants and pubs and places like that. Not because I don't want to, but because I know it's not safe to. I don't go on holiday. We're supposed to go to Siem Reap to see Angkor Wat Christmas time. Then we were supposed to go through my New Year time. It is too dangerous. I'm not paranoid, but I also know that that it is not safe. So, you know what, you've got to be cautious. Yes, I am slightly better, worse for the wear, but definitely, thanks, Linda. But it's just so important. If I take a look at religious basis that people have come down on things, it's all right. Now, I feel the same way, but I can't argue when I say, you take a look at what's Hemelvaartdag, the Ascension Day, when it was taken out of the South African public holiday. And it's all right to have this public holiday, and you will not take it away from us. And you know what? Genuinely, there were people that it actually meant a lot to, that were hurt badly by that being taken out of their calendar. But sadly, the majority of people that moaned about that were basically people who wanted another day off to drink and braai and just do whatever they want to do, not necessarily drinking wine, but the churches, and I was part of a church at that stage where I was on the committees and everything, and we said, okay, you know what, on that day we will still have our church service in the morning and we will still have our church service in the evening. So guys, you know what, put in a day's leave, take off work, come to church, let's do Ascension Day like it's supposed to, let's keep it there. Well, needless to say, it wasn't worth the church's opening. Those that opened that actually got 1, 2, 3 people there. Most didn't get anybody there, morning or evening. To this very day, there are so few, if any, that still have a Ascension Day. But they were complaining about their right and how it is their right to be this, and this is my right, and how dare you take my heritage and my right away. It's the same thing that I'm looking at vaccination. I'm not saying kids at the moment run with the adults at the moment, but at least if you're employed and you're responsible for a school, health worker, old age, food worker, anything like that, I would definitely say that it is important that you do. But let's take a look and see what this gentleman has to say.
O'Leary, you own stakes in companies. You advise CEOs. Should companies require their employees to be vaccinated?
Well, the positions that I have control in, the answer is you must be vaccinated or you cannot come into the office. You can't meet with me or anybody else. I don't want you meeting with clients either, in case there's liability there. I'm allowing employees to work from home in perpetuity, isolated if they decide not to take the vaccine for whatever reason they found to do that, but they can no longer meet in the office or come within anybody else that's employed. And I'm happy to get litigated. I'm happy to do that. I'm about saving lives here. I don't understand why people are rejecting the vaccine. I don't care what the reason is. This is about saving people's lives and respecting others' health. And if you want to sue me for that, bring it on. Bring it on. I'm ready to go forever on that one.
Well, I think you're talking to the wrong person who's joining you on the panel tonight.
Well, then let him sue me. I don't care. I'm going to stay healthy.
Mr. Braley, what's wrong with Kevin O'Leary's take?
Well, the problem with his take, of course, is that there are laws that protect against discrimination in employment. Now, look, I totally agree that employees should get vaccinated. I think vaccination is incredibly important, and employers should do everything they can to encourage and to make it easier for employees to get vaccinated. And the law is pretty clear that employers can impose mandates for vaccines. But the law is also clear that employers need to make accommodations for things such as disabilities or sincerely held religious belief. And so my position is strongly encourage, but don't go down the road of mandate. The road of mandate has a couple of problems. First of all, you have to do those case-by-case analyses of what accommodation you can provide for someone who has a disability or a sincerely held religious belief that prevents them from getting the vaccine. And second, if you really are going to mandate that all of your employees get vaccinated, there's an implied threat there, which is that if you don't follow the mandate, your job will end. And look, I heard you in the intro here talk about the worker shortages that we're hearing about. Are employers really willing to carry through on that implied threat of either firing people or having them walk away if they refuse to get the vaccine? And fortunately, the recent CDC guidance has given employers another alternative. And that is the CDC has made clear that vaccinated individuals can relax on masking and social distancing, but that non-vaccinated individuals should keep it up. So you can impose workplace rules that allow more leeway for vaccinated employees. And I suspect that going forward, that will cause a lot of people to choose on their own to get vaccinated, especially as they see their friends and family getting vaccinated without adverse consequences.
So Kevin, don't you risk losing or alienating your talent?
No, because they've already been working for 14 months at home, distanced, isolated, socially distanced. We know it works. We have the technology to provide for them. They can keep their job in perpetuity. I'm not threatening to fire them. This is about respecting other people's health. And so I want us to go to a place where everybody carries a digital passport proving they're vaccinated. I will not work with anybody. I would do some work in television, Scott, as you're aware. I will not go on a sound stage unless everybody there is vaccinated. Won't do it. Don't care if you want to sue me. I don't give a damn. I know people that have had COVID and they are really hurting. There's lots of aftermath to this. It doesn't just go away the way you think. I do not want to get COVID, period. Now, look, I understand what the law says, and I'm providing. I'm not mandating you losing your job. I'm saying you get to keep your job forever, but you are going to be treated as if you're teeming with death. And I don't want you near me. I don't want you near my other employees. I don't want you near any of my customers, because you are a liability until you vaccinate yourself. I have a right to have that opinion. Now, if you want to challenge it in court, bring it on. Bring it on.
Well,
Right. Yes. Apparently for religious, if you do have, but it is a substantial. I have another clip which I'm not going to play on that at all. No religion says that you can't be vaccinated. I agree. I mean, any religion that isn't cultish, let's put it that way, is definitely pro survival. I'd like to bring up another context in that as well. Sadly, I am a smoker, and I'm trying to go 100% vape, but as you know, that it is not quite legal here, so to be able to get vape juice in that area is rather difficult until they do take it away. But smoking is pretty much legal. But why don't you smoke in the workplace? Why can people not smoke in the workplace? Very simple. It is a health risk for those around them. Are you guaranteed to die of lung cancer if you work in the same office as somebody smoking? No, but you've got a pretty good chance of doing that. Vice versa, it's a health risk not having mitigated. So to mitigate anybody getting any form of secondhand smoke related illness, you can't smoke in the office. You can't smoke in a restaurant. I mean, imagine how would you feel if you ended up going to a restaurant and they said vaccinated or non-vaccinated? You would take huge offense. But you go to a restaurant and they say smoking or non-smoking. Right to choose, yes. Why does a teacher not smoke? Because it's not healthy for the children. Never mind for himself. Not healthy for the students. It's a bad influence for the students, and it's not healthy for them. So now you have an unvaccinated teacher, and possibly nothing is going to happen. Why possibly? I'm not going to be the one to say that anything will happen. Why possibly nothing is going to happen? But would you not like to know, specifically in a school, specifically in a hospital, specifically in an old age home, would you not like to know that everything possible was done to mitigate the chances or the possibility of your loved one or somebody, that doesn't have to be your loved one, but somebody is somebody's loved one, contracting COVID because not all mitigations were taken, because somebody felt that they had a God-given right not to. Yeah. Schools in this country, in South Africa, require children's clinic cards, vaccination certificate before entry to a school. Yeah, what is the difference? One of my clips had that on as well. One of my clips had that, and I'm not going to go through all the clips now because it's going to take too long and nobody watches to the end anyway. But it's true. When you come to school, you need to know that you've had your vaccinations. Why can your child not go to school if they've got measles? Because quite possibly, not definitely, quite possibly the other children are going to get measles. When somebody came to work and they were ill, one of my workers came to work and they were ill, I would send them home. Now, if you are home for one day and you had leave, you had sick leave, you would get paid for it. If you were at home for 2 days or more, you needed a doctor's note. If you didn't, you would get unpaid leave, but I wouldn't allow you back at work if you were sick. Why? Because I had to mitigate the fact that my other employees would get ill. It's really important. And as I said, I do not want to take a look at that gentleman's point of view, and I understand that people are afraid and fearing, but I just also feel that I've put so much different things in my body that a vaccination, but it was done so fast. Yes, it was done fast, but these days technology allows for that. I actually have a little video that I will play out with. And it will just maybe hopefully educate, hopefully enlighten, if anybody does actually watch this far in the video. But it's a little educational, and it does answer one or two questions, and you might be able to say, well, this way, that way. I took a flu vaccination when I went from Rwanda to Nelspruit in South Africa, which is sort of a warm, humid climate all year through. And we moved to Bloemfontein, which is a freezing climate in the middle of winter. And I took my wife and 3 kids, and I said, you guys don't know what Bloemfontein is like. We're all getting flu vaccination. And guess what? 5 of us took the flu vaccination. 4 of us were perfectly okay. Me has never been so ill with flu in my life as the day that I took that flu vaccination. It was after I took that flu vaccination. So 5 of us took it. It is the chance that you take, but it mitigates. And I think we owe it to our fellow man, our colleagues, and our children. I think we owe it to them. So I am pro-vaccination. I am pro-choice. But then take a look. You know what? If your choice is not to be vaccinated, then you should also realize that you should not be in a position that you would be putting somebody else's life in unmitigated circumstances. You know, if you can work from home, fine. You know what? You're an online teacher, fine. You're an online salesperson, fine. You make all your meetings and that from home, fine. Everything to that effect. But once you, and I specifically go into schools because I know it was brought up about schools, and I know the schools are complaining about it. And you know what if your child, which school do you send your child to? And has that school done everything under the sun possibly to make sure that my child is healthy, looked after, safe? And if they haven't done everything, then that school is not doing the job. If an old age home has their care workers, and if they are not, then, you know, I like the way Cambodia put it. As far as I know, the president said, listen, everyone gets vaccinated. That's it. Bam. Forget about whether your employer says so or not. He said, you all get vaccinated. Unless you have a documented health reason not to. I don't think he even gave the option of religious reasons, which I agree with him. He said, where in religion does it say that you should not be vaccinated? And you know, there's so many people not wanting to be vaccinated, walking around with tattoos on them. You know? Bodies are temple, smoking, tattoo, drinking, subjecting to lust, whatever, etc., etc., etc. Trust me, you need to manage your body, not worship it. There's really, it's a contentious crime, and I don't mean to disrespect anyone when I say. I looked at it when we had to, and I said, you know what, school needs everybody 100% vaccinated, otherwise we cannot take you back to school. They arranged for the day, they arranged for where we go, they made sure we got cards, everything, the cards had to get scanned back into HR and that as well. And we did have but it's my right, you can't take away my right. No one's going to take away your right to choice of vaccination. However, The school has a right to operate as a entity that is fully vaccinated or fully guarded against COVID. So as much as what your right is not to have it, that's fair and fine. We're not going to take that away from you. But you cannot expect your right to impose on another institution's right as well. So if my right is there to be not vaccinated, and you as a parent send your child to my school where I'm a teacher, or you send your parent or child to my hospital, or your mom or dad to my old age home, okay? And me as my right not to be vaccinated, and you choose to have as much mitigation and health care as possible taken before attending to my special person, my person that I care about. Does my choice then infringe on yours? Do you have to abide by my choice? I don't think so. It's a domino effect. Every choice has a repercussion. And sure, you have your choice, as long as your choice. So if the school's choice is that everyone should be vaccinated, because that is what they do to make sure that they are 100% mitigated as much as possible for the students. My choice is not to be vaccinated. That's fine. I'm not going to impose on your choice. But you cannot expect me to bend to your choice, because now you're expecting me to abide by your choice. Yes, you're saying that you're telling me to abide by your choice. No, I have many people to have that done for. You then need to be able to mitigate into the fact and say, well, I need to find something where I can do that. Maybe I'm a speaker and I don't get involved with people. Maybe whatever. What I'm saying is, every action has a reaction. And I'm not shouting or screaming about it, because I know there's legit reasons. There are legit reasons, and people legitly do that. But I just thought I'd put in my 2 cents there, because I know the gent is extremely angry, specifically schools. And I'm just thinking, I know from first-hand experience how paranoid parents are. They come to the school before putting their kids into the school. They take a look. We're teaching at home at the moment, but we're going to hopefully open up next term, which is in the middle of August. They want to see the spray booth that the kids are walking through, the hand sanitizers. They want to see the offices. They want to see the classrooms. They want to see everyone wearing masks. They want to see social distance space. What happens? We've had to move classes when they did come back for that short while. That all classes didn't end and start at the same time. They had 10-minute intervals so that the passage wouldn't be crowded by children. So that when the kids were dropped off, the students would come 10-minute intervals, so that this grade came first, then that grade came, then that grade. Same with going home. We had to go as far as doing that to be able to mitigate, because parents know that once your child is gone, be it a child that is 50 years old, be it a child that is 5 years old, they're the most precious in your life. Friends are precious in your life. People are precious in your life. For the sake of a vaccination that millions of people have had already, we should have a worldwide epidemic of death to vaccinations, if that's the case. But we don't. What we do have is a percentage mitigated, not to cure you, not to prevent you, but mitigated. Why do you wear your safety belt in a car? So that you don't die? You'll probably die in a car accident. High possibility. So that you don't get hurt. You are most likely going to get hurt in a car accident. But when you put your safety belt on, you mitigate as much of that as you can. You have a better chance of surviving. You have a better chance of not getting so hurt. Doesn't mean that it's not going to happen if you have a safety valve. Your vaccine is your safety valve. Put it on. And I'm not saying throw it into children just yet, but I'm saying you as the adult. I agree with 100% children under 18, not yet. It is still, it's like my puppies. They couldn't get an antibiotic when my puppy had a cold. I didn't show them to you today because they're too small. They can't take that kind of medication. But you old adults, I'm going to show you this last bit, but I'm going to say cheers so that if you want to switch off, you can switch off. If I am around at the end, I'll pop in and say a quick little goodbye. But I want to show you this last bit. Thank you very much for watching again. Oh, my banners. Yes. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the only way I get my news out there. Email me at pepperzecco, EPRSECHO@gmail.com if you have anything. And this was the end of another clip. But thank you very much again, Linda. I wish I had more people like you. We could have had an absolute raucous discussion on this Pepperzecco. It would have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Yes, wash hands. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Isn't it twice you're going to sing it? Happy birthday, dear. I said the other day, I am so sanitized, I can't even get dirty thoughts anymore. But, guys, thank you very much. Take care, be good. And I will just stop sharing and reshare with sound, otherwise you might not have. But as I said the other day, I said I sanitize so much I can't even have dirty thoughts anymore. It's just there.
I think that's only going to be discussed even more. Thank you so much for providing us with that insight. We appreciate it. And Happy New Year.
Let's be honest, no matter how much science you know or how logical you think you are, vaccines can be scary. There's something about someone else injecting us with a foreign substance that triggers our instinctive animal fight or flight response. Yet despite this, the COVID vaccines that are currently being developed are our best hope of containing the coronavirus and getting our lives back to something that at least approximates to normal. Of course, that doesn't necessarily make things any easier if you're grappling with coronavirus worries. So to help out, we thought we'd take a moment on Risk Bites to look at 5 reasons why you might think twice before getting the vaccine, and why on balance you might want to go ahead and get one anyway. 1. What if the vaccine comes with unknown risks? Unfortunately, everything we do comes with risks, and vaccines are no different. But the important questions here include: how likely are possible downsides? How severe are the potential consequences? And perhaps the biggest one of them all, what are the hidden dangers of not acting? Of course, if you're going to inject billions of people with a vaccine, someone somewhere is going to have an adverse reaction. But for the vast majority of people, this is unlikely to be worse than feeling slightly under the weather for a day or so. Fortunately, even with the speed with which these vaccines have been developed, we have checks and balances in place to ensure that the likelihood of things going seriously wrong is incredibly small. Which means that at the end of the day, the biggest risk most people face when getting a shot is a bruised ego as they realize they should have got one sooner. 2. Maybe the vaccines won't be effective. Fortunately, the way that vaccines are developed and regulated these days means that we have a pretty good handle on how effective they are. And all the evidence on COVID vaccines so far indicates that they are as effective as they need to be for reducing infections or reducing the severity of the impact if you do become infected. And of course, vaccines don't have to be 100% effective if we're to develop herd immunity, just effective enough. But this only works if everyone takes their responsibility to be part of the COVID solution seriously. 3. Surely COVID is fake news manufactured by Big Pharma. Okay, so let's be honest here. There is nothing fake about COVID. This is caused by a vicious virus that's killed millions of people and left many more struggling with long-term health issues. And if you don't believe me, ask anyone who's had to treat the sick and the dying. This is also not a virus that we can overcome through wishful thinking and blind optimism. No matter what you think of Big Pharma, we need vaccines. Of course, pharmaceutical companies will make money out of these. They have to, otherwise they wouldn't be in business. And developing new vaccines is a crazy expensive business. But this is a yes and situation where everyone stands to benefit from effective vaccines. And trust me, getting COVID vaccines right is something that pharma companies know that they cannot afford to get wrong. 4. Aren't COVID vaccines just a ploy by Bill Gates to implant microchips in everyone? Okay, so it might sound like I'm heading into crazy land here, but some people really do believe this. However, I have to admit that if asked to choose between Bill Gates being a criminal mastermind bent on world domination, or COVID being part of an evil plot thought up by aliens living on the dark side of the moon, I'd go with the aliens. Trust me on this, Bill is not out to get you. And finally, 5. Isn't it my right not to be vaccinated? To be honest, it's not clear whether saying no to vaccines is a basic human right, especially when your alleged rights end up being someone else's wrongs. More importantly, whatever you think about your rights and those of others, they always come with responsibilities. And the hard truth is that if you decide not to have the COVID vaccine, you risk robbing someone else of their right to live a healthy, normal life. The bottom line here is that no matter how hesitant you are about COVID vaccines, it's okay to be anxious. The benefits to all of us from getting vaccinated far, far outweigh any of the risks. And sometimes we all need to step up to the plate in putting the health and well-being of others ahead of ourselves. For more information, please do check out the links in the blurb below. And as always, stay safe.
There we go. Thanks, guys. Take care. Be good. You can't be good. Please be kind.